Hey gang, welcome to another edition of Doc's Dumpster, where it's a review of the movie The Flintstones in Viva Rock Vegas. Now, of course, this one is the prequel to The Flintstones, but it's also kind of a sequel in a way, I guess, or something like that. Fred and Barney get on with Slate and Company, and we kind of find out all the backstories on how Fred and Barney met Betty and Wilma. So we find out Wilma comes from a very rich family, but she wants to live a more simple life. And Betty works at Bronto King, where she and Wilma meet, and she thinks that Wilma is caveless. So then, of course, after Betty and... Well, originally Betty and Fred kind of hook up, and then Barney and Wilma hook up, but then they find out they have nothing in common. So then, of course, Barney and Betty hook up, Fred and Wilma hook up. And a little bit later on, they find out that Wilma is actually quite wealthy. So there's a guy named Chip who is trying to do everything he can to win Wilma over and win her away from Fred, because Wilma finds Fred kind of charming and likes him for all his stuff. So Chip invites them to Rock Vegas, and Chip frames Fred and Barney for stealing a pearl necklace that Wilma was given to by her father. And the Great Gazoo is in this movie, too. I almost forgot to mention him, too. He's in this movie, and of course, as we all know, only Fred and Barney can see him and talk to him. So the Great Gazoo tries to help them out in every way that they can. In fact, he helps them get out of jail. And in fact, at one point, Barney is able to slide out of the jail cell door and get the keys and break them out, and yeah. So then Fred and Barney dress up as dancers, and then Fred becomes... Mick Jagged to try to win over Wilma, which works. And then they all four get married at the end, and Chip is left pretty much with nothing, and that's it. The movie ends in big old fireworks and the Great Gazoo flying around as usual. The movie starred Mark Addy, Stephen Baldwin, Kristen Johnston, Jane Krakowski, Joan Collins, Thomas Gibson, Alan Cummings, and Harvey Korman. So the big question is, does this movie really deserve to be put into a dumpster? As much as I hate to admit it, but yeah, it does, gang. See, I really enjoyed the original Flintstones movie. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was really, really awesome. There was so much about it that was just incredible. The designs of the dinosaurs and everything like that. It seemed like in this one, it was almost like they just tried to make it almost like modern day when the movie came out. There were so many confusing moments in the movie. Ultimately, overall, it was not a very good sequel, and this is another one of those movies considered to be one of the worst of all time. In fact, you could probably say this is probably one of the worst sequels of all time, for sure. Whereas, maybe some people didn't like the Flintstones movie. Like I thought it was amazing. I thought it was really awesome. And it was another one of those movies I really wasn't sure I was going to like, because it was one of those, made a lot of money at the box office, everybody hyped it up, but it was pretty dead on with a lot of the stuff that happened in it. And maybe some predictable moments, but overall, a good movie. This one, however, just seemed like it wasn't quite sure if it was trying to be a family movie or if it was trying to kind of cater to adults at some points or what, but it really had a lot of moments where you didn't feel like you were laughing at all, and I don't know what it was, but I just couldn't take Kristen Johnston and Jane Krakowski and Stephen Baldwin as Betty, Wilma, and Barney. Mark Addy, I'll give him that much. He gave a pretty good performance as Fred, but this movie altogether is just it's a sad sequel. I mean, we pretty much know how it's going to end. and then Alan Cumming as the Great Gazoo. Not a good idea. It was pretty bad. You know, for years I called him Kazoo, and then I finally looked up and goes, oh, it's Gazoo. That makes more sense, the Great Gazoo. But there you guys have it, a review of the Flintstones and Viva Rock Vegas. However you feel about this movie, whether you agree or disagree, love to hear from you guys in the comments below. And of course, if you like my videos, always feel free to subscribe. And if you got a movie that you think belongs in the dumpster, and maybe you might want to put some rocks on top of it, send it my way, and I will get on it ASAP. Thank you guys so very, very much for watching. And until next time, as always, stay strong and rock on.